Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are in the Des Moines, the holy grail of legendary tier cruisers. And to be honest, this footage is about 7 or 8 months old. I forget the date exactly, but this is also probably the last time I played the Des Moines as well. The main purpose of this video is to, number one, show you guys an epic replay, but number two, just to say a quick thank you. Last night or the day before, we hit 9K viewers, and we had a little stream on it, but I just wanted to give a huge shout out to everyone who has supported me along the way. There's too many people to name. Legendary making my thumbnails, the Bro Zone for just, I've made so many friends through Xbox that I talk to on a daily basis. And I've helped a lot of people outside of ships. So if you're looking for a place to be, or you're maybe not, you're feeling, like life isn't where you want it to be. I think a lot of people have, and they found the Bro Zone and just different things. It doesn't have to be working out or whatever we do in there. But regardless, we'll get to the game here. We are in the Des Moines, and we are going to be an island camping, island humping American heavy cruiser main. Most of you probably know that the American Heavies are some of my favorite cruisers in the game, and the reason for that is they can have some of the highest impact per ship. And what we mean by that is a battleship, of course, can have a huge impact. Destroyers especially, even carriers, but cruisers, if you know how to play them when given the utility and you put yourself in the right position, you can have a game like this and truly determine the outcome. Now, the American Heavies are unique in that they are fairly tanky, they have a lot of health, and of course, usually are equipped with the American radar, which is pretty good. But the Des Moines actually suffers a little bit, as well as the Baltimore and of course the Buffalo. Because of that 27mm plating, you can be overmatched by 16-inch guns and above. Now the Salem just got a nerf, we know, which decreased her 30mm armor, which could actually bounce a few of those 16s. So if you know where to aim on these cruisers, and this is why you will see me kind of just managing this island here. There's only one destroyer in this game, so we're guessing that he's not on our side. But we're just kind of slowly peeking out here, mainly because the destroyer on our team is on the other flank. You do not want to be too aggressive, especially at Legendary tier, especially in a ship that can get overmatched by pretty much every battleship, with the exception of like the Pommern and the Burgoyne, I think. And of course the Colombo, but again, we're just... Most battleships at the tier can overmatch you, but we can kind of see that we are not detected. Our twist and track is around this Republique. We see another ship pop up on our spotted there. So we're actually going to go ahead and move forward. But if you'll notice, just like we mentioned, the Republique and the Musashi can both overmatch us. But we actually have some decent battleship support with us. They're slowly moving forward. So what we're going to do is slowly move into this island here. And that will allow us to capture A, as well as provide a little bit of spotting for those ships out there. That is when the Carnot pops up. So what are we going to do? We're going to hold our shot. With the concealment module that we have on the Des Moines, we are able to kind of, manage this position right here and get to this island. That is when the other Republique pops up. So 3 out of the 4 ships here can overmatch us, and we do have one out there in terms of the Carnot on our flank. So what we did is we managed to navigate our way to this island, so that way the other ships are not able to shoot us, and now we are going to simply out-DPM this Carnot. By maintaining angle, and again, a lot of people ask me why I use overview camera. We just use overview camera there to look to our right. Why do we need to do that? Well, we need to check and see if there's a ship over there that can get access to our broadside. Now, we have managed to get very close to this island here as this Carnot turns broadside and lost 75% of his health to those 2 ships there, to the 2 battleships behind us. No idea why he decided to go broadside, but anyway, he did, and yeah, he's going to pay the price for it. But he angles, he does a full U-turn there, losing most of his health, and now he's going to angle, so we obviously switch to the HE. In the meantime, though, we can see that the Alpha Cap is starting to tick red, so we preemptively pop the Hydro. I didn't really think it was the Shima in the moment, but you just want to make sure eating a Shima Torp is just like... I don't know, going to dinner at someone's house you don't like. You really don't want to do it. Those Shima Torps, they pack a big punch. But we're guessing that it is the battleship, which is why you see me kind of just, abusing this island here. And a lot of people, the battleship mains especially, think that this is like a coward play. But this is how the ships are meant to be played. If you watch any of the King of the Sea tournaments or any, footage from PC, the cruisers in this game are less armored than battleships, right? So if it's usually the battleship mains which are sitting in the back, which are like, whoa, they're just hiding. It's like, well, yeah, you have more guns in a sense, higher caliber guns and more armor. So why would I not? But that is when we actually get the kill, the first kill on the Carnot. We got a blind fire off there, which actually caught him on fire. We go ahead and put out the fire that he got on his dying salvo, and we're actually just slowly peeking around the edge of this island here. Why are we doing that? Well, you'll notice we are actually concealed, but we are able to fire our front guns. This is a little bit more of a advanced or pro tip strategy, if you will. I've been doing this for about 2.5, 3 years now. You just want to get the edge of your boat around the island there. Your concealment is based off of the mast, really, of your ship. So if most of your ship is behind the island, with the exception of your your front two turrets, you are able to fire from concealment. But that Musashi kind of moved out there, and you can kind of see the mast is poking over the island, so we are detected in this situation. But what we're doing is we're just kind of sitting here holding, waiting for either one of them to either rush us or for them to make a mistake. Ideally, we would have, liked the Yamato behind us to kind of move forward and kind of help out his fellow Yamato. But the other Yamato wants to be a man inside the cap against 3 ships. And, well, he's going to pay the price for it, which is why, regardless of, how your masculinity is or your ego, you need to stay you need to be aware of your situation, right? There's 3 battleships in front of this Yamato, so why is he rushing in? I don't know. Now, to be fair to him, those few battleships were not necessarily spotted, and he probably put himself in a forward position. But if the other if the other Yamato would have moved up, then we could have potentially, with my DPM and the other Yamato, dealt with this situation a little bit better. We know that the Yamato can overmatch most spots on a Republique, as it has 32 millimeter plating, but he YOLO rushed in by himself, and he is dead as a result. You will also notice the one ship killed is the Carnot, and that is the only ship dead on the enemy team, compared to the 3 ships dead on our team. So we have some heavy lifting to do, but you will notice that the Musashi is burning at a rather furious rate. I believe he put out a single, it could have been a double fire, I'm not exactly sure, but we got him on a permanent fire, and he is pretty low health, and we actually get the Arsonist. So yes, he is going directly to the forums to complain. But if you will notice, we're actually one of the most forward ships, with the exception of our destroyer, which is a little bit of a perfect irony, because usually it's the battleship mains in the back of the map that kind of don't really help their team, that end up getting spammed and complain. But the HE spam is definitely frustrating. I do agree with them in the regard that certain, cruisers can outrange, some battleships. But like I've mentioned so many times before, and like we've shown in so many videos, playing battleships, getting fireproofs, getting dreadnoughts, if you don't pay attention and you put your ship in a bad spot, yes, you're going to get spammed. So just a friendly piece of advice: put your ship in the right position, pay attention to your surroundings, press those cruisers. If this Republique had pushed me, there's probably not much I could have done about it. But in the meantime, though, we are spotted, and we don't think it's because of the ships in front of us. So we are guessing that that destroyer is somewhere either behind us, off to our left. We just need to be aware of that. In the meantime, though, we have this Buffalo out here, and we are trying to help our team, right? Our Kleber is out there, and that Buffalo is a radar cruiser. I could have switched to the AP for the final salvo, but the Buffalo was maintaining angle up until that point. But worry not, Aaron does not spam HE the entire time. I only spam it when it is the appropriate ammo choice, which is sometimes, recently I've been kind of holding on to the AP a little bit longer. I want those juicy salvos. A lot of players recently are turning broadside. But using the correct ammo type is always preferred. In this situation, we have an slightly angled Republique, so we want to abuse the HE. Why? Well, the Republique has 32 millimeter plating, which is absolutely eaten up, as you can see with the massive penetrations we are getting, by our 203 millimeter American HE. Now, of course, if he turns broadside, that juicy, upper belt, we would absolutely want to AP. And here is a reason, a little bit of a misplay by me, of why you do not want to get spotted, really, in most cruisers, with the exception of maybe the Stalingrad and the Alaska, and potentially the Yoshino. One shot from the Republique, and there is half of our health. A Citadel and a penetration right through the nose. Now, we weren't fully angled. We were actually at a little bit of this unique angle, which probably armed the shell right in the Citadel. But again, this is why you utilize island cover. Here, though, I kind of oversteer and push in, and we have a little bit of secondary support. We get a little bit lucky, but with those 2 salvos, we have lost about 30,000 HP. But with help from our battleship, we are able to get him off the board. We go ahead and switch to the AP, looking at this Republique. We look at the front guns to get a better view. Thank goodness that Republique is not focused on us. Again, he can overmatch us. We're trying to go for the double strike, right? 10, 9. Unfortunately, we do not get the kill, and that is when we notice something very, uh, curious, right? That twist and track, as soon as that Republique right in front of us died, switched behind us, and that is why we were detected earlier. The Shima Kaze has worked his way all the way around, doing those classic Shima things. So we actually call for some help from our Kleber, but what we're going to do is we're going to utilize this island cover. We're not detected, right? So we know he is either not within our concealment or he's right behind these islands, and there come the torpedoes. We pop the Hydro once again, but now we're going to go on a little bit of a hunting mission. We all know the Des Moines has a fantastic radar coupled with our concealment. We can get pretty close to this guy and then push him just a little bit in and, of course, radar him. There come the second and third set of torpedoes. Thank goodness we had the Hydro. We turn out of those rather safely. Our strategy for this is we're just going to go towards him until we can't anymore. If we round this corner and we're detected and we pop our radar and he's not in it, well, he's not going to be able to influence the game. You will actually notice that this game is rather close. We're evenly tied on ships, 2 battleships, 1 cruiser and 1 destroyer. We become detected, and that is when we radar and the Shima is spotted. So thank goodness for that. We did have some threats behind us, though. I believe it was 2 Grosse Kurfürst, and we are actually detected by 2, well, 1 now, as we finish off the Shima for our 4th kill, turning out, and that is when we use overview camera and look around, and we actually get a touch lucky that those shells landed inside of our dispersion circle, but that is why you always want to be aware of your surroundings, right? If we would have continually sailed broadside or even turned out to get all guns on target, we could have potentially been sailing broadside to those 2 Kurfürst. What is 2 Kurfürst? Kurfi? Kurfis? Kerfunkel. Regardless, though, we're going to back to this island, right? We're going to utilize concealment and basically try to win this game ourselves as we tick the high caliber. So Wither, Arsonist, high caliber. Can we get the Confederate? Can we get the Kraken? Well, if you saw the clickbait, you already know. We switched to the AP here, but the Kerfunkel, right? What did we say? The Kerfunkel have started to angle again, so we're going to go ahead and switch back to the HE. A huge shout out for our destroyer for just living. Sometimes if you're a destroyer player and you just live, you can give your team a tremendous advantage. And what we mean by that is he is alive and he is able to spot for us. But of course, as soon as Aaron announces that in the video, he goes behind the island and these Kerfunkel are now concealed once again. And right on cue, as soon as we announce good destroyer player, he charges a Des Moines. Now, the Des Moines was kind of hiding behind that island as well, utilizing concealment, as we have mentioned. The Kleber does get some torps off as he is finished off by that Des Moines, and we actually get some nice AP salvos as well. A beautiful citadel on that flank there. We're also trying to look and see where the Kerfunkel are so we can dodge them in the meantime. I believe the Kleber got a few torps, but we actually get 3 citadels on that salvo and get the Kraken unleashed. So just a beautiful, just little drop in the bucket. That is like one of my favorite shots in the game, is leading that American AP, just dropping it in the bucket there. But that Kerfunkel, one of the Kerfunkel is actually on fire, and we actually take our Confederate in the meantime. So a fantastic game so far. And all we need to do really to finish it out is to not die, right? We have 2 caps to their 1. Our Yamato is low, and I am not low, but I'm not really as healthy as I would want to be facing 2 Kerfunkel with overmatch. And that is when one of the Kurfürst, one of 2 Kerfunkel, gets spotted. And yeah, I decide to be very greedy. He looks like he was turning, so we're just going to utilize the dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge maneuver, but it actually doesn't work as well as we would have liked, because he gets a salvo off, and just like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, the Des Moines is easily overmatched. As you see, we get Citadel right in the butt cheek there. The other Kurfürst is now turning his turrets, and I'm kind of in a tough spot. I wanted to get to this island. I didn't see the second Kerfunkel there. The first one actually put out a fire, so we're trying to get all turrets on target. We're trying to dodge here, but the salvos land right into us. That was only 2 penetrations, and probably a huge misplay on my part. Now, fortunately, with the last shell, RNG was on our side. We actually do get a permanent fire. So if they don't have will to rebuild or another heal, we probably will get that kill. The good news is our Yamato worked his way into the Charlie cap, so now we are taking 3 caps to their none. Now, in the moment, I wasn't sure if we were going to tick the cap, or the point advantage, rather, but I was kind of relying on my fire to get that Kurfürst. Now, the last thing, right, that our Yamato needs to do is just live. But in typical blue team fashion, it looks like he's turning broadside around this island. Now, there's only 9 seconds left, so hopefully he could survive at least 1 salvo, but In this situation, if I was this Yamato, I would basically be like, okay, as long as I don't get Citadel, we win. And that is actually when I get the flesh wound, and we get the win regardless. So a huge shout out to that Yamato for living and capping. But yes, a video from a very long time ago, so you're going to see, I don't even remember what campaign this was or the date, but yes, the Des Moines Kraken, 250,000, and a 36.95 overall score. I feel like it should have been a lot more for the amount of lifting we did, but regardless, a GG's to both teams, and yeah, a huge thank you guys for 9K. I really appreciate the viewership, the support, the likes, the comments. Yeah, I never thought just being some dude making videos about boats I'd be able to get here, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll be on stream tonight. Everyone take it easy. Peace.